Hey, hello, everyone. Welcome to the HireMyVA Team and Business Building podcast brought to you by ugozi.com. And in this podcast and HireMyVA, we help you to reclaim your freedom through hiring and thriving with virtual assistants without breaking the bank. Okay, got to take a breath here. Hey, I'm Dave Braun. And as usual, I'm here with the Larry Broughton.
Hello, handsome Dave. It's the Larry Broughton here.
Yes. Every one of these, every now and then on some of these episodes, I got to bring that up. I just love that.
And we're not even going to, if you don't know what he's talking about, you'll have to go back and listen to past episodes.
Yeah. We won't go there too long. All right. So, Larry, what's up, man?
Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, you too. Hey, you know, something that happened was really cool recently. We saw, I might, date this a little bit, but saw Top Gun Maverick. Man,
there you go.
Great movie. Great movie.
I haven't seen it yet. Good.
You got to. It was awesome.
Yeah, good. I want to see that, and I want to see the Elvis movie that's out.
Yeah. And what those two comments have to do with the question for this episode? Zero.
Zero. Who cares? Who cares? We're humans too,
Yeah.
Well, handsome Dave, it's good to see you. I think this is
too.
actually part 2 of a series that last week we started on. Can I really sell my business? I think it was the question. I think we're going to be talking about. All right, if that's the case, how do you actually sell your business? How do you go about doing that? Is that about? Yeah. Do I have it close on what we're doing on this version?
Yeah, it's close. This one is like, what do I do to get ready to sell it?
Oh, what do I need to get ready?
How do I position my business, right? And then the next episode, we're going to talk about, well, how do I really go about it? If you say, now is the time to do it, what do I do?
Oh, so how do I prepare?
Yeah,
this
is like the preparation
business. Okay,
one, right? So, and I think most business owners are going to, they in the back of their minds, they know that they're going to sell or something will happen. And if you guys haven't listened to our previous episode, like Larry mentioned, go listen to that. But I think most people know that at some point, if they think a little bit, then they are going to really sell it. So this is really going to be the meat of these episodes. It's like, how do I position it for sale? I mean, what do I need to do right now? Because I know someday I'm going to sell it. Right.
Yeah. And maybe we can just remind people on like, why would you sell your business? And the reason that we're even talking about this is that I was stunned from a conversation that I'd had, a survey I'd read first, or not a survey, a statistic I'd read first, and then having a conversation with a business broker friend of mine, that most small businesses don't actually sell. They just close. They just close the bleeding doors.
That's so
because they don't think that they've got anything to actually sell.
Yeah.
And the truth is, most businesses, even if you're not making any money, even if you're losing money, there's some value there. It might be the client list, it might be equipment, it might be inventory, it might be territory, it might be proprietary information, it might be just systems on how to do things. You could sell your business to entrepreneurial startups, you could sell it to the competitors, you could sell it to a family member.
Sure.
All kinds of people out there who would offer you money for your hard work that you put into this all these years. But we know that sometimes people have to sell because of the death of a family or illness or all kinds of things. So now that kind of groundwork is laid, go back and listen to the other episode. I guess the question is, what do you do to get ready for it? Right?
Good question.
Yeah. Well, sir, I think, David, generally, I would just say this. The best way to get ready for it is to systematize everything.
Yeah.
We can end the episode there.
Okay, we're done. Thank you for joining us.
Systematize everything. All right. So how do you know that you've systematized everything? Well, can you go away from your business for an extended period of time and the business keeps running?
Yeah.
That's a good question to ask, right? And
yeah.
You're going to have to test fire it a couple of times to do it. But
yeah. And also, you may have a really key team member. Well, can they go away for a week and do you keep running okay?
Let me tell you this. I've got a one-on-one client and who's preparing their business for sale. And we went through last week who are some potential buyers, and she was feeling really dour, like, Well, first of all, we did a competitive set analysis. We looked at what are other businesses like yours? What are they doing out there? And let me back up. Competitive set as far as businesses that were for sale, that were like hers across the country. What are they using for revenue multipliers? Are they doing a multiplier of revenue? Are they doing a multiplier of EBITDA? How are they coming up with the valuation? And then what exactly are they selling? How are they coming up with their valuation based on revenue, trailing 12 revenue, trailing 12 gross operating profit, those types of things. So she was kind of dour about that when we first started looking into this. But the more we did it, the more excited she got. Right? Because information, some of us have ways of talking ourselves out of, good news, right? I'm not good enough, because we know all of our flaws, right? In the recovery community, they talk about don't judge your insides by everyone else's outsides, right?
Yeah.
And same goes with your business, by the way. The truth is all businesses have flaws, right? But then last week we did a little exercise like, who are potential buyers for this? And somebody kind of started percolating to the top. It's actually a former employee, who's got a lot of entrepreneurial juice and left because they wanted their own business. It's like, well, gee, many. So that's the homework this week. So had this client though not done the stuff that we're about to talk about, she would have less value in her business. And what we're talking about today is really systematizing everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. During our programs, Dave, during our victory program and during HireMyVA, we have a thing about setting up standard operating procedures, right? But I would say have stable systems, reporting systems on everything. Like think of your key major departments in your business: finance, marketing, lead gen, sales, operational efficiencies and fulfillment, administration, manufacturing, acquisition, whatever it is. What does your business do? There are systems on how to do those things. Okay, like on financial. All right, so what are the key metrics that you're measuring or should be measuring on a regular basis? And is there a way that you get those numbers on a regular basis? Right?
Exactly.
I just kind of start with that kind of stuff. How do you systemize, or what should be measured on a regular basis as far as maybe we can just dive into it. Financial stuff, for instance. Do you have daily flash reports? Here's what the revenue that was booked. Here's where the revenue came from. Here's the revenue on the books for tomorrow. Those types of things might be something to consider. Do you do weekly cash flow statements? Do you measure how much money cash goes to the bank or cash that gets deposited? Do you do monthly financial statements, profit and loss statements? Those are minimal things that every business should be doing on the financial side.
Yeah. And, to the SOPs, if you are watching this and you're a smaller company, you've got 2 or 3 people or 4 people, chances are you are doing, you're actually acting a lot of times like a team member.
Sure.
You're the CEO and then you're also the team member.
Yeah.
Well, what that means is you and every other team member needs to be SOPing everything that you're doing, like recording what you're doing. So that way somebody else can take over what you're doing.
Yeah. And I just want to remind people, we talked about this in the past episode, and we encourage people to go watch the last episode, but I'm going to bet that there are going to be people who aren't going to go watch the past episode, Dave. Yeah. But even if you are a solopreneur, let's say that you have an answering machine, not even a voicemail. So you have an answering machine and you're a plumber and you work by yourself. Let me back up. I can tell you, here's a guy, a former tenant of mine. His name is Bob the Glass Man, and he used to replace wood sash window glass. That's what he specialized in. Didn't do anything else.
Okay.
And all he did is he had his sole marketing thing was word of mouth and business cards. Okay. And he had an answering machine at his house. And that was it. That was his sole business. Okay. But this was in San Francisco. Okay. Now you think about all the wood sash windows in San Francisco, those Queen Anne and those Victorian style houses, right? if the guy had some entrepreneurial juice in him, boy, he could be busy all day long and wouldn't be a tenant, but he'd be owning one of these houses, right? But even Bob the glass man has got a business to sell, right? There are systems to do things, right? So you talked about having 2 or 3 employees or team members. Even if you have 2 or 3 team members, or even if you have 0 team members and you are the only team member, you've got a business to sell. You do. You really do.
Yep.
Okay. So don't think just because you've got a couple of team members that this isn't pertinent to you. It is. It really is. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep going here. So finance, we're talking about, yes, having financial SOPs in place is important. Another area, Dave, is there anything else on the finance side?
Nope. That's good.
When I mentioned marketing is the second area, Dave, even having sample marketing initiatives and plans. Hey, each year I'm going to do this, at a minimum, you ought to think about, it gets to be, let's say if you got a small business, let's say that it's November of the year. You ought to be thinking about, okay, what am I going to do next year? Am I going to do any kind of search engine optimization? Am I going to have a social media presence? Am I going to go to the Chamber of Commerce and at least make an appearance there once in a while and pass out business cards? Am I going to have business cards I'm going to go around and just put on people's windshields? Simple things, like what are the minimum things that you're going to do? Just itemize it. Just put it into a calendar. So it reminds you, hey, each month I'm going to do these initiatives. And then just measure what are the results. It can be as simple as that, Dave. So that when you're preparing to sell your business, at least you have a template of what's been done in the past so that a potential buyer comes and says, okay, what have you done before? Okay, Dave, you made $400,000 last year. What did you do to get this $400,000? Because usually what happens when somebody asks you a question like that on the spot, what happens? Your mind goes blank. Nothing really. But what you actually did is you've got 10,000 people on your social media. Guess what? There's value in 10,000 people on a social media platform. Or I've got an email list of several hundred people. There's value in that, right? So I would, as simple as having a marketing calendar of what you have done and what the results are of those, to actually having a kind of dynamic marketing plans, doing a full-blown marketing plan. Anything in between, but have something that talks about marketing would be really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how you say that, where you really, I think a good way to do this is, having your KPIs, all right? In each area you have your KPIs. And if you're tracking
performance indicators.
Yeah. And if you're tracking your KPIs, those will give you the results of what you're doing. It almost sounds like, Larry, business owners need to be, constantly recording what they're doing. Like
it sure does make it easier for sure.
Yeah, because there's so many things that we try that are effective and things that are not effective. Man, if we had that library or that digest of what worked and what didn't work and why, man, talk about, even that would be value. What if you had a library of these videos of what worked and what didn't work,
just in Google Drive?
Yeah, what a great asset that would be when you're selling it, right?
Right. And say, hey, here's my entire Google Drive, and I've got, here's the folder for XYZ business.
Yeah.
Under XYZ business is SOPs. Under the SOPs is financial SOPs, marketing SOPs, lead gen SOPs, operating SOPs, administration SOPs, manufacturing SOP, whatever it is, right? So that somebody who has no experience can go into this Google Drive folder, and just find all of the information, which worked and what hasn't worked.
Yep.
Wow. There's some value.
That's a lot of value.
Yeah.
That's a lot of value.
I like that idea, Dave. And we encourage people to do that with their standard operating procedures, by the way. We have a step-by-step plan for that, believe it or not.
That's one of the things that is occurring to me is we don't, in my business, we don't document what worked and what didn't very well.
Really? That surprises me with you.
We don't.
It is
We just
become part of the
do.
intellectual DNA.
Yeah, we
Uh,
just don't. We're establishing a learning library and
yeah.
figuring out what should go in that. But that's more of the learning is about, it's learning on operational type of things, not
Mhm.
some of the other aspects. Um, but it's almost like everything we have to. And I know one of the things in our checklist when we do a website is at the end we record a video that says, hey, here's some of the reasons why we did all these different things on this site. Here's some of the custom stuff we did, where it's located and all that. So somebody else can pick it up.
Yeah.
But man, that exact type of thing really needs to happen for every initiative that you've got in your business.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But especially marketing, it's like, because marketing, you're doing so many experimentation on things, or lead gen, you're doing so many different things. Man, if I would have documented like all the different lessons, and well, I did document some, but not formally, of all the different lessons in my networking group.
Yeah.
Man, talk about value.
Yeah. Yeah. Your financial SOPs, I think, are going to be pretty straightforward. Those aren't going to
Yeah.
really change that much. Your marketing initiatives are going to change all the time because, boy, marketing ways to market your business change, come and go all the time. I mean, if somebody would have built their entire business practice around MySpace, um,
Yeah.
they'd be dead, right? And I share oftentimes in our masterminds about the one business. I'm not going to say it now. The one business that you know who I'm talking about, who built it solely on the Facebook algorithms and made lots of money. And then as soon as they changed the Facebook algorithms, instead of reaching every person that was in your friend group, you're reaching 100. Oh,
Yeah.
their revenues plummeted,
Well,
right?
yeah.
They didn't foresee that happening, right? So marketing could change pretty regularly. Lead gen and sales, I think, would be really important ones, Dave, to adjust from time to time. I think you're right. Operations, having systems there, I think is really important. How do you actually do what you do is important, right? Again, because a potential buyer may not be an expert in your business. So how you do what you do would be very important. So pretend that you are training someone who's got a, 8th grade education. How do you do what you do? Everything from, I always use this example because you did this for one of our former clients. You pull up in front of your business at 6 a.m. in the morning. As soon as you step out of the car, what do? I walk to the door. What was it? Disarm the alarm. Okay. How do you disarm the alarm?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, after I do that, how do I make sure that the police don't show up? Okay, how do I get cash into the cash register? Those types of things, right?
Yeah.
Systemize all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, one of the things that we've got as part of the systematization of it is we have a quarterly review now on our SOPs on the different areas.
Quarterly.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I say the different areas, each quarter we take an area.
Yeah. Oh, I see
And
what you do. Yes.
and we say what needs to be updated, what is not there, what are we doing differently? And
So you're not testing all of them every quarter, but each quarter you take a different area.
yeah, like some of the areas that we're talking about here.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And I tell you, we've got some holes. We
Yeah.
got some big
Well,
holes.
we all do, right?
We all do, and that's okay. It's
Right.
it's making a plan to fill some of those holes.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing that, Dave, on a quarterly basis. I think we spoke about that on a call recently.
We did.
Oh, good. So I'm glad that you're doing that. Another way to force yourself to check these things
Yeah.
is for you to go away, Dave.
Yeah.
You to go on vacation. And when I say you, I'm using the proverb, the royal you, right? The listener, as the
Yes.
business owner, for you to go away on vacation for an extended period of time to see what would happen.
Right.
If you've been running your business for 5 years and you've not taken time off for 5 years, I'm not going to encourage you to take 2 weeks or a month off the first time you go away. That will not be a wise thing to do. But to take a weekend away to see what happens, and then take 4 days off, and then take 5 days off, and take a week off, and then take 10 days off, and then take 2 weeks off over time, but keep doing AARs each time you come back. What went right? What went wrong? What do I need to improve before I go away again? Would be really a valid way to do this. Because again, I don't want to get dour and pessimistic and down about this, but we don't know when a death is going to hit the family, or a sickness or an illness is going to hit the family, or an economic downturn is going to hit. We just don't know. But the sooner you're prepared for this stuff, the more value your business has.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing I think, as business owners do this, as they test these things out, you've got to be willing as a business owner to have a couple of things fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
Gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And you have to be okay with it, because you got to realize that you are building something that's gonna last, that's gonna be more robust.
Yeah.
And the sooner you do that, the better you are, because as your business grows, sometimes the people that fall through the cracks may be really, really big clients, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You'd rather discover all that stuff earlier rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave, one of the things that comes to mind for me is, if you're trying to position your business for sale, one of the things I would encourage folks to do is ask themselves, is there something I can be doing in my business that is recurring revenue? You and I talked about this with your business a while back, where you're not just building websites, you're maintaining them, you're doing hosting. There are a variety of things that you now do with your clients where they pay you every month, month in, month out, and it's predictable revenue.
Yep.
Right. When you can actually have predictable revenue, recurring revenue, particularly long-term recurring revenue, it adds value to your business. Some people will say it's a multiplier of 2 of what they actually. So let's say that you're in, by the way, because people ask me this all the time, how do I value my business? There's a lot of ways. What you need to do is go to a broker ultimately.
Yeah.
Because there's a variety of ways that they'll value business, but it depends on what's going on in the economy at the time. If all of a sudden, there's I don't know.
Well, a pandemic.
Well, I was thinking, what if all of a sudden, no one is building websites anymore? Then the value of your business has probably gone up, unless there's a reason why people aren't building websites anymore. But you got to know, why aren't people building websites any longer? Right.
Yeah.
And so brokers, it's their business to know what's going on in the economy and in an industry. Right. And when I say go to a business broker, there are some businesses that are so specialized that they'll have business brokers for that industry. Right. Like, you're not going to go to a residential real estate broker to sell a hotel. It's too specialized. There are real estate brokers, and not just and then you don't just go to a commercial real estate broker. Hotels are so specialized. You go to a hotel broker to buy or sell a hotel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because it's so specialized. Now, small business oftentimes it's not. However, the point here, like, I got off track here for a second, was if you can have recurring revenue, though, a typical service business that might sell for 2 times your gross revenue might sell for 3 or 4 times gross revenue if there's actual recurring revenue. Dave, if you were just doing websites, that's all you're doing, just building websites. That's it. Well, guess what? You're only dragging back to the cave what you're killing.
That's right.
Right. And so you got to be out there hunting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if all of a sudden you've set up these snares all the way around, where constantly those things every month, those traps are producing revenue, meat that you can drag back to the cave, it makes it a lot easier. So real value comes. So you got to ask yourself, what can I do in a business where I get recurring revenue every month, where somebody's paying me $9, $19, $99 a month, month in and month out. Think about website hosting companies, for instance, as an example.
Yeah, I think we ought to do a separate podcast and think about some stories, examples, and some ideas about how people can create some recurring revenue in their businesses.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great thing to do. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, having that in there, if it's a stable source of revenue, something like that, people will pay a lot more for that because they know it's coming.
Particularly if it's one of these things where you can have a very high sticky factor, What do I mean by
Yeah.
sticky factor? That they stick around for more than 2 months. You know, like they stick around for years. For like you've got people, you've got recurring revenue that's been in there for years, right?
Yeah.
There's higher value to that than if you've got a sticky factor of 3, where they stick around for 3 months. But they've been around for 36 months. There's much higher value there. So that's either through reputation and satisfaction or through contracts, right? So let's say, for instance, if I'm going to go sell my hotel management company, right? If I've got 50 management contracts, all that have 10 years left on those management contracts, there's a lot higher value in those than if I have 3 management contracts and they're all about to expire in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And this kind of leads into the next one, David. It's kind of it's similar, I suppose. And it's about who do you know? It's about the relationships that you have. Building a client database is really important. Okay. And not just past clients, that's great, right? But past clients that are still warm, that you still have a relationship with. And frankly, even if you know you're selling, here's an interesting one. Even if you know you're selling next year, you don't stop selling your business. I mean, you don't stop trying to foster new clients, because pipelines are very valuable as well.
Oh, great point.
If you can hand a pipeline over to a potential buyer as well, so that a lot of the heavy lifting has already been done, there's value there as well. So your old client database, it's still warm. A warm database is better than a cold one, right? And a pipeline is very valuable too. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, and that's wow. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. So as you are working on selling your business or positioning it for sale, um, making sure you keep going on every aspect of your business as if you weren't.
I'm a big believer that
Going.
you act as if you're not selling it.
Yeah.
Because what if you start just winding things down and getting lackadaisical, people are going to start picking up on it, both your team members and your clients.
Yeah.
Your clients will go somewhere else. They think, well, gosh, if I'm being treated like this now, I don't know what the future owner is going to do. And your team members, they want to be on a winning team. Fear creeps in.
Yeah.
They'll go look for some security. But if you keep hustling as if you're not going to be selling the thing, you're bringing more value.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was really good. So we talked about stable systems. We talked about testing those systems. We talked about recurring revenue, even hiring a business broker for, even evaluation purposes. Maybe you're not really going to sell it, but they can maybe spot some holes. And of course, hiring a business broker that's got specific experience in your industry. And then we talked about continuing to build your client database.
Yeah.
Even people who don't go with you right now, keep them in your database, because when you sell it, maybe the company that you're selling to would have something that will appeal
to
somebody in there.
Yeah.
They'll be able to bring in maybe more advantages or opportunities. So
you're right.
So I think that's those are pretty good thoughts and ideas. I think we answered that question really about how do you position your business for sale.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Good. What are we talking about next time?
Well, next time it's going to be, how do you actually sell?
Okay. What are the actual steps?
Yeah. What are the actual steps? And, related to that, Larry, there's something that we're working on, and you're putting some final touches on.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah.
What would you say that is again? Some really cool checklist.
Our business sales checklist.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be an awesome resource. And we don't have it up to where you can easily opt in for it yet. We don't exactly know where that's going to be.
Yes.
But we do know that if you want that, you can just email us at info@hiremyva.com or info@ugozi.com.
Yeah, either of those. So it's a very extensive checklist to help you prepare to sell your business. Okay. Yeah. And there'll be some links in it with resources as well.
Oh, that'll be, I can't wait to can't wait to see it when it comes out and start going through
We've
it
been talking about it for a
myself.
long time, I know, but getting this out forces us to finish that thing up. It's
Yeah.
another one of those resources that we want to make sure people have.
Yeah. So if you guys want it, you can send us an email, info@hiremyva.com, or you can actually put a comment and say you want it in, the YouTube video when it's up. You can always check out our website and at HireMyVA.com, and you can put your information in there. There's a contact form that you can fill out and just say that's what you want.
Yeah, but truly the easiest way is just email us, because let's just be real. Let's say a year from now, you find this video and you put something in the comment section. We may miss it. I'm just being honest with you. Best thing to do is just email us. Say, hey, we want that business sales checklist, something like that, and we'll make sure and get it to you.
Okay, we'll talk about that in more detail in another video. Maybe that'll be part 4.
Well, maybe the thing may be done actually when we do our next podcast. So we'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, folks. Thanks again for joining us today. And remember, building a team is the way to reclaim your freedom, because you're going to need a team to help you with all of these systems we talked about so that you can maximize the value of your business when it comes time to sell it.
Yeah.
And of course, Larry and I are here to help you with our course community and our white glove service, where we find rockstar VA team members for you. So 3 things right now we'd love for you to do. We'd really appreciate it. Number 1, subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already done so, either on your iPhone or your Android phone. And then on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Do that. The second thing is, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a comment. Any comment, ask us a question, because we want to use that to help get the word out. And then give us a rating on the podcast app that you're using, preferably 5-star. And the third thing is go to HireMyVA.com for more information on our course community and our white glove service. And if you want this checklist that we talked about, you can just email us. That'd be fine. But remember, even without experience with our course and community, you learn how to prepare for, hire, and thrive with virtual assistants. Larry and I have helped lots of folks. We're helping more as time goes, and we'd love to help you too. So just go to HireMyVA.com for more information.
Hey, folks, thanks for joining us this week. We love you. We're glad that you're on the journey with us. And we'll see you soon. All right. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. All right. Until next time. Later.
All right. Bye folks.
Bye.